All right, it's Cofield here in Atlanta as we're kicking off our coverage, talking to Nate Marquardt. All right, before we get into this fight, we got to talk about what happened last time out.
Sure.
A little frustrated after that one?
A little bit, just to be honest, I didn't know about the second point deduction. But really, I'm happy with how I fought, and I think people that saw the fight feel that I won.
Yeah. How did you not know about the second deduction? Kind of unaware, or just wasn't indicated?
He didn't actually tell me. He went and told one of the judges on the side, and never told me to my face. But
yeah. And that was the deduction for the
for the elbow.
Okay.
For the elbow, yeah.
You look back at it. I mean, was that justified at all or not?
I mean, the first elbow was questionable, and I heard him say, "Watch the elbows," and so I changed the elbow to in front of the ear right here,
Right.
And that's when he stood me up after a couple of those. So, and after he stood me up, I even told him, I said that wasn't illegal. It wasn't to the back of the head. It was to the side of the head.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes. I should have been able to finish that fight, and that's my fault for not doing that.
Did you kind of set the tone though with some of the stuff early on with the knee, because that was an illegal knee. I mean, there's no argument on that one. Do you think he was kind of on the watch at that point?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your reaction after the fight was a little odd because that cost you the fight, and you were pretty calm. And we've seen fighters react differently. Quentin Jackson after his loss, who knows what was going on mentally at that point, but he stood up and said, "Hey, I lost the fight. I got my ass whooped." I mean, hours later, are you pissed off? Do you ever get mad, or were you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was upset, but there's nothing I can do about it at that point. And really, the crowd was cheering for me. The crowd felt that I won, and I felt that I won, and I didn't get beat up, so nothing to be upset about.
All right, Nate Marquardt here with us. It's Cofield in Atlanta. Now, after the fight, he said he wouldn't fight you again. He was kind of calm at first, and this is Taos Ladies, who you fought. And then he said, well, he was kind of dirty, He actually said he should have finished me after the knee. So what's your reaction to that? Is that something maybe lost in translation, or I don't really get what he was saying?
To be honest, I think he had some pressure from his camp to telling him what to say. I know I talked to him right after the fight. He knows I wasn't trying to be a dirty fighter at all. On the knee, he actually was standing up. He started to stand up. His knee came off the ground, and then he put it back down, and that's when I threw the knee because I saw his hips come up, and I thought his foot was still off the ground.
Right.
Or, I thought his knee was still off the ground. So, that's just kind of politics. He's trying to set himself up for a bigger fight. So.
I mean, and frankly, the elbows, I think, are always going to be a point of contention, aren't they? How can they actually legislate it or come up with a rule, because it's very inexact?
Yeah, really, I think I'm just going to have to talk to the ref before the fight and ask him what he's going to consider legal and illegal.
Do you believe that each ref has a different interpretation?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I do, especially.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Last thing on that fight, the other thing you got hammered on the net was the pile driver. Was that just emotion? Was it just at the moment? Because clearly something like that's illegal. It looks cool to the fight fan. It's probably not cool getting dropped on your head, though.
Yeah, well, actually, it wasn't illegal. What they say is illegal is to spike someone on their head.
Right.
When you spike something, you throw it down. Well, I picked him up and threw him up, and basically, I kept my arms locked, but I let him fall on his own. I didn't push down. So, I've done that move in training, and the guys held onto my leg, and I just lay him out instead of he let go and his head went down. So. That's another thing, the ref has to be watching to say, whether it's illegal or legal.
Right. This fight, first of all, the training. Tell people how it breaks down for you, because we know you're part of Greg Jackson and Albuquerque, yet you have your own school up in Denver. So how often are you down there? How do you kind of mix and match?
I try to go every other week when I can. A lot of times, I'm not able to make it on one certain week, but if I'm going consistently, it's every other week. I also train up in Montreal, so that affects it. But and also the guys come down to Denver, so it's really good being able to train in different places like that.
And when you say the guys, is it the core group is traveling to both sites, Colorado and Montreal, or who moves along in the camp? And was Rashad on the road? Did he stay most of the time in Albuquerque?
Yeah, Rashad stayed mostly in Albuquerque, but he also came to Denver, and I also went to Albuquerque.
Yeah. So why do that?
Just to be able to train with the best guys.
Yeah.
Train with Rashad and Keith and Joey and George and Dave and all those guys.
Yeah. What's it like going up to Montreal and training with George?
It's great. He's got some great training partners. He's got some great trainers. His boxing, wrestling, MMA, everything, and he's awesome. So yeah. It's great to go with him.
What's he like working with in terms of size? Because at 85, you're a pretty big 85. Mm-hmm. There's been talk of George eventually maybe making a super fight, maybe at a catch weight, maybe just going straight to 85 against Anderson Silva. When you're in there with him, does he feel like an 85? Do you feel like you're overpowering him? How does he actually feel?
No, I mean, he's just as strong as any 85er. He's stronger than most 85ers that I've fought, so he's a strong guy.
All right, Martin Kampmann. I know there's been some interesting talk already. We'll get to that. That's the fight here at UFC 88. First of all, his game. You're known as a guy who's well-rounded. I think he's well-rounded. I don't know that we've seen him in a fight, though, where he's had to go against a good submission guy. Maybe I'm missing a fight.
Yeah, he fought Dallas.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So do you feel like he's got any deficiencies in that area, or is he a completely well-rounded guy?
Yeah, he's completely well-rounded. That doesn't mean he doesn't have weaknesses.
Yeah.
He has weaknesses, but he has his strengths as well. He's very well-rounded, very good, stand-up, good takedowns, and he submitted 3 guys in the UFC, so it says a lot.
His hands, I know he was talking up on UFC.com about how he thought he had an advantage. Mm-hmm. You disagree?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I'm going to prove it. I have better hands, but he's good. He's good all around. But I intend to dominate the fight wherever it goes.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.